on, Cubs fam? We are back for another free-to-play versus whales discussion. We have got a panel of a compilation of free-to-play, kind of, lower spenders and whales on this chat today. And we got a lot of good stuff to talk about today. So let's go ahead and bring them on. We actually have a newcomer to the chat today, and his name is Furball. Furball, I understand you are I would call you a born-again free-to-play. You spent a long time ago, and you haven't been spending for a long time, right?
That'd be correct, sir.
Okay, so tell me, how long has it been since your last dollar spent on the game?
Last time I spent is when Gear 13 was announced. Was the last time I spent.
Okay, so it's been about like a little over a year, I think, then. So, okay, good for you. So you've been going strong. We'll talk about that. Partik, normal attendee on the whale chat, heavy whale in the chat. Good to have you, Partik. How you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and he's, of course, on the, you're in, I'm trying to think, Maw, right?
I'm in Caw Patrol.
Oh, Caw Patrol. That's right, Caw Patrol. Caw Patrol. Okay.
Number one.
No, okay, all right. So he's coming in here flying his banner. So he's on the heavy whale side. Ram Bam, another born-again free-to-play, did spend a lot of money on the game, so we really can't call you a free-to-play. It's kind of disingenuous, but you have not been spending for 3 months now, right?
Yep, that's about correct, yeah.
About 3 months. How you doing today? Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me, Cubs. Always a pleasure to be here.
Right on. And then Ranger, he needs no introduction because his opinion doesn't matter. All right, no, just kidding. Ranger,
ARC Trooper!
Yeah, you guys got to come to my Twitch stream and check it out. We have a meme on the channel of how I need to relic my ARC Trooper because I keep losing mirror matches because of my weak ARC. And Ricky P in the chat decided to make a whole music video about it. It's actually a pretty freaking awesome music video. So let's get to the agenda. I'm going to give you guys a preview of everything that we got today. Lots of good stuff on this chat. I hope you guys will stay and enjoy the whole thing because there's actually a lot of really good stuff to discuss today. So starting with a new potential marquee character coming to the game. We're going to give a little speculation on that and tell you kind of where that's coming. Oops, sorry, I moved that out of the way. And then also, we need to talk about GAC Divisions. I had a video recently that brought up a little bit of controversy that I will explain on the GAC Divisions and if they're healthy and if they're not and what might need to change. Also, we're going to talk about Jedi Luke potentially being needed for not one, but both Galactic Legends. Could that be the case? And then also looking ahead to Galactic Challenges 2.0. We are wrapping up today as I'm recording this video, the last Galactic Challenge. As you guys see this, it will be over. And then hopefully on, the start of the next week, Monday, we're going to see some announcements from CG. So hopefully that is enough for you guys to chew on. Now, starting with agenda item number 1, we see in the data mines, this was on the SWGoH Events Discord server, character bundle 14, I think it was, or something like that in the data mines, which almost always indicates a marquee character is coming very soon. It does not specify what the character is. But Ranger, I want to get your take on this to start with.
Yes, sir.
If there's a new marquee character coming to the game, who do you think they're looking to bring right now? Do you think this is going to be something Mandalorian related? Do you think it's going to be something Galactic Legends related or what?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Galactic Legends. I don't think this is Mando stuff. I think this is going to be the other character because they're going to try to get it out as quickly as possible. It's going to be Empire, and I'm going to throw my 2 cents in for Scout Trooper.
Scout Trooper
punches Baby Yoda, not the normal Scout Trooper, the Jason Sudeikis one. Just throwing that out there. But yeah, it makes sense. We've got 2 that you need right now for Luke for the new Galactic Legends. We only have Piet right now as the other marquee, kind of paywall character you need for Palpatine. So it makes sense. That's where I think they're going for.
So another dark side Empire character, Scout Trooper, meant with that. So I actually think Scout Trooper is a fan-freaking-tastic prediction because obviously Piet has some really solid trooper synergy right now. So it would kind of make sense to bring in a new trooper, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, and the thing is, Piet's such a great kit. Just add in another trooper and give him a little bit trooper love, a little bit more synergy, something to add. Yeah, it makes sense, and there's no way they're going to keep 2 characters. You have to kind of have a paywall for newer characters, or maybe not paywall, but newer characters that you need and not have one for the other side. They're going to balance it out. So that's where kind of my logical thinking is on this. But yeah, troopers, love them, but kind of falling by the wayside. This kind of helps a little bit.
All right.
They need some love.
Any other opinions on that? Anyone think anything different would be coming, or does that sound about right?
I think Scout Trooper would actually make a fantastic addition, and it could, even though it's obviously being used for Galactic Legends, or I would assume as well that it's being used for Galactic Legends, it could also tie in to Mandalorian because of the fact of the tie-in with Baby Yoda and whatnot. So if they ever decided to do some more Mandalorian stuff, they could easily make Scout Trooper required for that. Especially if they brought out like a Moff Gideon or something. So
I actually, yeah. So speaking of Mandalorian, this is something that I don't think that Baby Yoda is going to be a legendary character. I could be wrong, but I do think they'll bring him eventually. But what I think is more likely is that Moff Gideon will be the legendary
I would say Moff
character.
Gideon would be a legendary for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if Scout Trooper makes sense to be required for something like that. If they were to bring Scout Trooper, I would guess that it has nothing to do with Mandalorian content, but I could be wrong. That's just my take. Partik and Furball, anything else you guys want to predict there, or you guys think that we've pretty much said it?
I think it's definitely related to the new GLs. I wasn't really thinking about new dark side characters because we just had Piet, but I see the argument that we already have Mon Mothma and 3PAC on the Luke side, and that would sort of balance it out. I was thinking about this in the context of potential additional light side characters, like maybe sequel trilogy light side characters. Like we don't have an episode 8 Leia, like a General Leia could be a good character.
Yes.
Maybe like a Stormtrooper Luke might be interesting, even though that's kind of totally out of left field. I don't know. I guess who knows? I mean, I like it. I mean, I was thinking about this in the sense of who would have like a narrative connection to the GLs, and I don't have a really clear answer about what that would be, other than like some sort of episode 8 character who was present on Crate when Luke did his thing at the end of Last Jedi, which is a great movie. The end.
Did you just say The Last Jedi, which was a great movie?
I did.
You are always invited back. You're always invited back, Partik. I like this guy. You guys like this guy? He's a good guy. Good guy.
I was going to lean towards, I do like the Scout Trooper idea for the marquee character, but my personal prediction would have been either one of the Sith Knights that were in episode 9 towards the end. That would have been my idea of a marquee character, because that fits right under this eternal Palpatine that they're going for.
That's spicy. That's spicy. I like that. I think I would almost, I don't know, Scout. Tell me how you guys feel. I would almost prefer that in some ways. I think that'd be pretty cool. Scout Trooper's a fan favorite, though. I mean, it's something that we've wanted for a long time, so I don't know if I'd want to trade it for that. I don't know. What do you guys think?
You're talking about like the Royal Guard with the blasters and at the end of episode 9. Those are pretty cool. I could go for that.
Yeah. Okay, lots of options. We'll see what it ends up being, but I think the general consensus here is we've got 2 marquee characters needed for Luke, and only 1 so far for Palpatine, and so good chance that we get 1 more that will be needed for Palpatine, and then they'll all go farmable about the same time anyway, so it ends up kind of being about the same level of investment for all intents and purposes. So, all right, shifting gears now to Gac Divisions. I want to talk about this. I made a video recently bringing on a player who I feel is one of the most remarkable players I've ever met. His name is Bus. He's taking first in the top division of Grand Arena. And the way he's doing this is largely related to, some people call it sandbagging. I call it efficiency of farming. He's only farming that which benefits him, which makes sense to me, and I don't really care to get into that debate here. But what it did bring a big discussion up over is the divisions and how fair it is that someone at, kind of the lower end of Division 1 can be ultra efficient and appear to be the best player in the world when you've got the top of the division, which is actually more like 7 million GP, which to me is a totally different game. And so I want to get everyone's take on this. Do you guys feel like divisions in Galaxy of Heroes need to be adjusted or amended given the wide spread that exists in Division 1 in particular, which ranges from, I believe, 4.5 million GP to all the way up to the toppest end of the game, which is, up towards 8 million GP. Huge gap there.
Oh, I do. Yeah. We discussed this with the Senate on our stream. And it's not for rewards. It's just that I think Division 1, there's such a diversity and difference in play. It's not comparing apples to apples. It's apples to oranges, right? And I watched your interview with what's his name, and I thought it was fascinating. But he kind of plays like Finn does, right? If you look at me and Finn in comparison, we're both Division 1. He's 5.6, I'm 5.9. Totally different game. Finn has hardly any relics. He plays Gear 12, characters. It doesn't have any Galactic Legends, any of that stuff. He faces people in that bracket. However, I'm on the other end where I'm 5.9, but I have both Galactic Legends, Luke, Mando. It's a different style of play. How do you compare those, right? We're both in Division 1, yes, but we're facing different people. It's a different kind of GAC. So I think looking at it from that regard, I don't know what the exact answer is, like where the cutoff would be. But how do you justify, we're all competing for the same rewards, but rewards in GSC suck. It's just more about bragging rights. So I think maybe just adding another cutoff between Division 1, because I think there was in the forums we were talking about this as well, about the number of people in Division 1. Don't know how accurate those stats are, but if they're somewhat close, a lot of people in Division 1 now. So I think just add in another layer separating, because the fights are so different. Just so that someone who's in that upper division says, okay, I'm kind of having the same fights as everybody else is, kind of lays the groundwork. And then people in the other lower Division 1, they can call that lower Division 1, upper Division 1, can say, I'm the top player in this section. So then you can just end that debate.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to claiming top, and this is probably an error that I made in the video that I'm happy to admit. I'll admit my faults. I touted him as the best free-to-play player in the world, and to me, he's one of the most impressive free-to-play players I've ever met. But as far as saying he's better than the top echelon in Division 1, that's not. It's like comparing LeBron to Michael Jordan, right? You just can't compare it. Jordan played in a different time. He was a different style of player. LeBron played at a different time. He's a different style of player. I really don't care to get into that debate here. But point being, you cannot control all those variables enough to actually make any kind of comparison within Division 1. But then that also kind of begs the question, why do we need that compare? Why do we even need to know? Why do we need to split them? What is it? If it's not about rewards, and I mean, it's not really about matchmaking, I don't think. What's the, I guess, benefit in splitting the divisions?
Ego. It's my biggest thing, which I don't really care, right? You and me are both in the same kind of band because we go usually 11-1. Yep. In our GACs, we always have that one match that kind of goes sideways.
To be fair, I'm usually 10-2. I usually drop 2. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's still really good, So, but I always have that one match. Either I go undefeated or I have that one match where it's just stuff happens. But again, I don't. It's just for fun,
right?
What do I gain? I mean, I've been in the top 500 before. What did I gain? Nothing. Okay, I can just say I'm in the top 500. That doesn't take away the fact that we're really good at GAC, right? And we know what we're doing. So, I mean, if you want bragging rights, go for it. I don't care about that stuff, but I know some people do. So if it is that important to them, then that would be why.
I care about winning. I mean, the leaderboard to me is, there's so many people playing this game. I just don't really care to get on the leaderboard. I just want to win the match in front of me, and if I go 10-2, I'm satisfied. Anytime I go 11-1, I'm ecstatic, and I still haven't gone undefeated for a full season, and so that's kind of my goal right now. And to me, the peak achievement from now is going undefeated for full 12-0 is what I want to reach, and I'm content with that. So, anyone else in the chat? I'm curious, Furball. I want to talk to you about this because you're kind of on the free-to-play side now for the last year. How are you feeling about the GAC matchmaking and divisions and all of that?
So in my experience with Grand Arenas, I have never fought somebody that was relatively even close to my GP. I sit around just under 5.2 mil, fight people 600K higher than me, but we relatively have the same roster.
Okay.
My thing is there definitely needs to be another division or two added, even if you break it up by millions, and add them. But if for the people who have, big egos and they want to go for that number one spot in Kyber, when you do get ranked after a season, I think you shouldn't just get the Kyber border around your portrait. It should be your Kyber border underneath with what actual number you place. Then there'll be more incentive to play and go a little harder. But for myself, I enjoy Grand Arenas. I do. But they're not my main reason to keep playing the game. I enjoy them just for the little bit of rewards that you do get, but it's just something else to do in the game for me.
So GAC is the main reason I play the game, so I'm curious to hear what yours is.
My main reason is territory battles, hands down.
Wow.
Ever since Hoth Battle came out, I was obsessed with them. I love the idea of it. It's just something that I really, really enjoy.
Okay.
When I go farm for characters, when I build characters, it's all based around the territory battles. Like, my entire roster is built for territory battles.
So do you like the light side GOTB?
I do, but I've been focusing on the dark side because I'm a separatist. That's my favorite faction.
Okay.
Of all Star Wars, content. And so I've been focusing on dark side so far. And once I have Slicker, I'll have the final piece of my puzzle to be able to effectively 4-4 every single combat mission, special mission, and ship mission. Right now, there's only one out of phase 4 combat missions that I do not 4-4. And once I have Slicker, I'll be able to 4-4 that very easily.
So Furball here is a great guild mate, everyone. You're all going to want him in your guild. Every guild needs somebody like this. This is awesome, man. Good for you. Most people aren't as enthusiastic about territory battles, but I meet people every once in a while that are, and I think it's awesome. Okay, cool. As far as GAC divisions, Partik and Rambam, anything else you guys want to add there?
So I'm glad you're bringing this up because I think, what I took away from the video yesterday, and I'm glad we're talking about it now because it was too bad that this sort of wasn't in the cards yesterday. It just wasn't something you were able to get to. But like what I see from, what the player who was on yesterday demonstrated is that there's a huge sort of unintended metric or something in the way that CG apportions added GP when you take a character to gear 13 versus adding relics or adding zetas. Like, there's really not a huge GP bump to take a character to gear 13, but once you start adding relics, which is typically something you do for squad arena, for territory war, for territory battles, it adds a ton of GP, and the same for zetas. And so, I had never really thought about it that way before, but you could, I think, do what this guy, I think, very intelligently has done, and has construct a roster effectively entirely for PvP GA matchups and avoid all that stuff. And so, I guess for me as like an over 8 million GP player, I'm actually not specifically in favor of changing divisions. I mean, the rewards are not really the reason to play to begin with. I mean, the rewards are all in-game economy rewards, so like everything's illusory because it's all made up in this in-game universe. It's like you play because you enjoy it and because you sort of are chasing the accomplishment. But I do think it would make a lot of sense for effectively de-emphasizing the hard division lines and placing, especially now that we've had so many grand arenas, weighting matches or bracketing them based on some combination of GP and like recent achievement or GA lifetime score, right? Yeah. Like, because it's just the case that, Division 1 is not one division. It's like
it's like 30.
It's like 300 divisions because if you're at the tip of the spear, you're playing the same players every time, and it's like, everyone is maxing their rosters largely for other game modes, and the matches are brutal. And so, your reward for like investing further is harder matchups, which is fine. I mean, that's you're sort of putting yourself into that challenge, and that's how it goes. And other people play it differently, and that is also fine. but it seems to me like, why not have some cross-pollination and say, look, if you're continually beating up on rosters that are similar to yours in like top 65, top 80 GP, then there's probably a different way to measure what would be an appropriate challenge. And so I think more could be done to add elements of having more successful players in the lower GP sort of ladder up a bit, and having, some of the less successful higher GP players who, like they're guys, that I face in the like high 7 to 8 million bracket who have fewer plus 20 speed mods than like the guy you had on yesterday does. Like that just are not as serious about tuning their roster for PvP, and they could step down and have more competitive matchups against people with lower GPs, but like more efficiently built rosters. And the people who have lower GP, but are much more successful and really are good game players, good in-game decision makers, could be effective against much higher GP rosters. And that's especially the case if we have 7 squad boards in 5v5, where there are just so many more teams that are viable than squads that are available, that so much of the roster at the top end is unused. So like, if you're chasing the metas, like a player at 6 million and change is largely placing the same types of defenses and using the same types of counter teams as a player much higher. That's not to say that it should all be mixed up. I don't think it's crazy to have some sort of cross-pollination across the division based on success. Like some sort of ladder system or a promotion relegation system, even if it occurs across multiple GAs, I think would be much more likely to get you close to something that resembles a true champion.
Yeah, so then I think that comes to the question of, are we trying to find a true champion, or is it just a leaderboard that doesn't mean anything? So I love your points though on how to get there. I've kind of wondered about doing something similar as well. Rambam, you're up.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I like the bragging rights. The division, the gap kind of feels like it's big, but if you look at it, because again, they go off the top 80 GP, not necessarily the character roster. So I've gone against characters that are. I went up against a guy that outmodded me. He was 5 mil. I'm at 6'5", and he beat me very slightly, but he beat me. So it has nothing to do about your roster. It's what you do with it. What I am in favor of, if they make a change to the divisions, Galactic Legends, if you have one, you're ranked up against someone that has one with you, not 2. If you don't have one, you don't have Galactic Legends that you get paired with. I'm in favor of them making that change, because I've talked to people who get super let down when they're like, oh, this guy's got 2 GLs and I have none, and they have 1 counter prepared. And so the guy's just going to put both GLs down and they're going to get screwed. Or they have 2 GLs and they feel sorry for the guy that they're going against that has no GLs or only 1 GL. And it's just, it kind of feels unfair. Yes, you can have the counters for them, whatever, and you can make an argument that, it's your roster, do what you want with it, but it doesn't feel right if you have the GLs or not. So if they're going to make a change, I feel like that's the one that they should do. But I mean, it would be nice to have a different division just to kind of separate the people that have 6'5" and up, or 7 and up, or something like that, because it is a pretty bloated division.
So
I mean, really quick, my kind of concern about that is I would not want excuse me, I would not want there to be a setup for GA where players who do not spend are ineligible for like the top tier of rewards. And like, I don't know, for someone who's not spending on this game, you think of some of the like top players who sort of construct their roster like most people do for all game modes, as sort of as contrasted to what you were talking about yesterday.
Yeah.
And you think about guys like, we have some guys in our guild, we have like guys like Slow Eagle and Maw who are like, 6 million and plus, it's free to play, but those are like day one players who've been really efficiently managing their resources. And so, it probably does make sense. I see the argument for having like a 7 million plus division or a 6.5 million plus division, but I also see that leading to players who continue to be engaged but are not spending think, oh, well, you're just saying if I don't like buy vaults, then I can't get the extra Zeta mat or whatever. And I think that's probably a bad thing for the game.
So
Well,
I think
no. So I'm saying the rewards should stay the same, right? It's just it's about dividing or bridging the gap, really, dividing the people based on how their rosters are versus how the upper whales are. There's no way that a 4.5 mil GP account, and obviously it never would, but it should be there's no way a 4.5 mil GP account should be in the same division as an 8.5 mil GP account or whatever the cap is currently. There's no way that should be a thing. You could bridge that gap, but like I said, that's not really a concern. The more concern, in my opinion, is the definitive gap between the GLs and no GLs, or 1 to 2 GLs, or soon to be 4 to 3 to 2, however many GLs that there are. That's where I feel like they should actually make the change. But the rewards are fine. I don't mind the rewards. You get mod slicing match, you get gold pieces, you get you get Zetas if you're efficient enough and you take first or second.
It could be better.
The rewards aren't. They could be better, but they're not bad. If they change it, my fear is if they change it, then you wind up with Galactic Challenge rewards, Like,
yeah, we don't want to go in the other direction, that's for sure. So I think kind of the underlying theme that I think we're alluding to is that perhaps divisions aren't the problem. It's just there's some potential matchmaking issues that exist. Would you guys agree?
Yes, I agree. But, I mean, really, with one simple fix. If you want to keep the divisions how they are, by all means. But for the people who want those bragging rights, those like top end, that want to be the best, instead of making the Grand Arena Championship bracket in an actual tournament, make it like where like all of us can tune in and watch it and watch the top players in the world actually compete in a live tournament.
So you're cutting out a little bit there, Furball, but I did get the gist of what you're saying. And I absolutely love it. This is something that I've always felt like Capital Games could capitalize on in turning Grand Arena into a bit of an esports event where you take the best players in the world who are constantly scoring the best and opt them into a big, huge tournament and have the tournament streamed on their YouTube channel and show both sides of the attacks and that kind of thing. I don't think they're ever going to do this, unfortunately. It just doesn't seem like anything they've ever really even alluded to being interested in, but boy, would I love to see something like that. I think it would be really, really exciting to watch.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I've tried to do similar things on the channel when we used to do tournaments, but they weren't really that meaningful. They were just kind of for fun, but it would be awesome if they made it serious. So, all right, let's shift gears. Lots of good stuff. I appreciate your thoughts on GAC matchmaking. Let's talk about Jedi Luke, my friends. Jedi Luke, his event is looming. It's going to be coming back pretty soon. A lot of people are thinking. I thought it would have been here by now, actually. And so we're just kind of waiting for this. And there's a lot of speculation that Jedi Luke is going to be needed for the new version of Luke. But what if he's needed for both Galactic Legends? Because it wouldn't really make sense to have somebody with that, that rigid of a requirement set and that new to be needed for only one of the Galactic Legends. And so why not both? He's got a connection to both, obviously. Thoughts in the chat?
Well, I had a spicy question posed to me today, Cubs, and I want to see what you think about this because it completely threw me and Scribe Gaming off because we thought about it, we're like, oh, they might do that. Oh,
okay, I'm nervous.
Okay, Jedi Knight Luke for the new Luke, Gas for Palpatine.
Oh.
Let that fester in your brain matter for a moment.
The only reason why I think they might not do that though is because so many people already have gas at Relic 7 and Luke is such a hot commodity. So like from the lore standpoint, sure, makes sense. From the we're CG and we want all of your dollars, not so much.
But here's the thing, all they have to do is, because I countered that the same argument, they're like, well, what if they just make Luke after this event permanent like gas and say, here you go, you can get him anytime you want. There's their money.
Yeah.
I was like, at first, like, no, they wouldn't do that.
They have already said that they're not open to to putting characters earlier in the journey guide. Like they're open to doing it, so there's no reason that they can't do that with Luke.
Yeah, they can do anything they want.
Yeah,
Exactly.
They have unlimited power, man.
Oh boy, because I was thinking, yeah, maybe Luke for both, and then someone asked me that, I'm like, oh my god, that would be something they could do. I really hope they don't do that, but man, they could do that. I give the possibility low, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. It does sound like something they would do. You make Luke a permanent fixture as a journey character. Gas is going to open up anyway, and then you have gas as the requirement for Palpatine, and then you have Luke for Luke.
Any other thoughts on that?
Me personally, if they're gonna kind of same status the other galactic legends required the other forms of themselves. So for instance, Rey needed Jedi training Rey and then Rey scavenger. So if they kind of keep to that kind of concept, I would imagine that CLS and Luke Farm Boy would be required for Luke, and then Emperor Palpatine would be required for the other Palpatine. But you don't have
and Sidious probably.
Oh yeah, and maybe Darth Sidious would be required. That's the thing. I don't believe that they would make Jedi Luke a requirement for both of them. I just don't see it personally, because like you said, they're not going to put him in the journey guide sooner for people to unlock, so that people could have them for the Galactic Legends. It seems like they already have the 15 characters that they want for each, and he's not going to be able to quote unquote be free to play for both of them, so that people can unlock them on day one.
Or what if they do this? What if they make Jedi Luke required, and they don't put him in the journey guide? They just bring his event back for a couple days. And if you don't get him, SOL. Till next time.
Yeah, it's just with the first Galactic Legends, they wanted people to, like, when they released them, they were like, hey, we're keeping these in the journey guide permanently so you can obtain them any want. If they put that gate on there, we're like, hey, you got to wait every 3 months until it becomes in the journey guide to get Luke. I think that would counteract their argument from the set of Galactic Legends.
Yeah.
All I was going to say is, do not, in the course of this discussion, don't sleep on needing Relic 7 Farm Boy and Relic 7 Darth Sidious.
Oh, I think those are a given. I completely agree.
Hands down. Yeah. Hands down.
Both of them. Yeah. If you want to go to the bank with somebody, those are the ones to take to the bank.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so.
So
okay.
it's madness. Just thinking we just have to wait.
Yeah.
But it's rumors will fly. That one just kind of hit me, and I was like, my first reaction, no, and then I'm like, yeah, they might do that.
Yeah.
Hey,
I second that. I don't see them doing a Luke for both.
Okay.
I see them doing Luke for Luke because it follows the cadence of the previous GLs, and it follows the cadence of literally every other legendary Luke that has come before that, or hero's journey rather. And I don't know about gas. It could be something they do, but I don't know if they would do gas for Palpatine.
It ties into his character. They have the history together.
The only way I see gas being a requirement for a Galactic Legend is after these two, when they release the next two, it's for the Dark Side Anakin and the Episode 3 of General Kenobi. That's the only time I see them releasing gas as a requirement.
And speaking of, how much more amped would you guys have been for these Galactic Legends if that's what they were doing now?
I'd be going for Anakin day one.
Oh yeah. Gosh.
Oh yeah. No, Anakin or Kenobi, Annie all day.
I'd go for Kenobi, man. Kenobi.
Oh yeah, high ground.
No.
On Anakin, man. I want to slaughter the children.
That's got to be a scene.
You have done that yourself, Anakin.
Imagine if they actually put, like, I think it would be so funny if they do bring Fallen Anakin, or Darth Vader unmasked is maybe what we could call him. Maybe. That small time frame, and then have you actually go to the Jedi Temple and have like waves of younglings that you face, and they're all like just one hit.
Oh, they got the one kid, Master Skywalker. What are we going to do? There's too many.
Imagine if they actually put you in like a 1v10, and all of them have like one health, and you just AOE them to death and just destroy them.
The difference with them releasing both of those is I feel like most of the player base would undecidedly go for both at some point in time. Like there would be no question about it. Whereas right now it's like, okay, cool. Kylo, obviously you kind of want, he's really good.
Yeah.
Rey is like cool to have, but you don't
I
really.
don't even want her. I don't even
Exactly.
want her. No.
Yep.
I don't think I'll ever unlock her. I just don't. Like, you got to relic Rose Tico, guys. I mean,
Not worth it.
It's not worth it.
like, rework Rose Tico. Give me something to do with her. My gosh, what a waste of space on my roster. All right, let's move on.
Let me make a 10-second argument for Rose Tico in a GLR lineup.
Okay, here we go.
Which is Rose Tico on her basic gives tenacity up to a random resistance ally.
Okay.
And what effect is tenacity up effective at blocking? It would be damage over time effects, and who inflicts dots as a way to counter Rey is Darth Vader.
Yeah, I've gone against Rose teams before, and my Vader still walks all over.
I'm not saying it's good, but there's something in the kit that might be the seed of something.
Maybe. Okay. All right. So with that excellent point that Partik just made for Rose Tico, I love it. Let's move on to talking about Galactic Challenges 2.0. We have got the end of Galactic Challenges, and now we sit and wait, Cubs fam. We sit and wait for what CG is going to do. And so I want to just leave this open. Anybody jump in here as you want. But when do you expect to hear a post from CG on what the plan is for Galactic Challenges?
Better be damn soon, because, man, I gotta say, I'm super disappointed in Galactic Challenges so far.
I am.
Really disappointed.
I'd say sometime next week at the earliest. And I mean at the absolute earliest. We're obviously not going to get anything today.
Yeah.
Being that it's the end of the event. So I would say at the absolute earliest we'll get something next week, but let's just be honest and fair. Doesn't the quota or the quarter ends at the end of September, right?
Yep.
Or is it the end of October? Yeah,
October
end of
is
September?
beginning of the last quarter.
So I would almost be willing to bet that they'll wait till the end of September and combine it in with the Road Ahead or State of the Galaxy or whatever they decide to do.
So
and
hold up. You think that the next iteration of Galactic Challenges, you think we're going to wait a month before we see Galactic Challenges again? September 4th right now.
They said they have to make changes on it, and we know how long they take to make changes on things.
Well, they've also told us that changes are coming faster now because of the new upgrade. Allegedly.
Hey, yes, allegedly that's what they've said. But like I said, how long was the Annie bug and the Asajj bug in the game, and it's still there.
That's different than this premiere new content. I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna disagree with you flat out, Ram Bam. I don't anticipate that they're going to be I don't think we're gonna have the new Galactic Challenges on Monday, but I doubt we wait longer than a week before we see the next round. That's just me.
I agree with you, Cubs, and I think I said I'm gonna make my final judgment on these until I see what they change. They haven't changed anything. It's just been really bad. I mean, for instance, yesterday I was testing out stuff with this last round. I went in with a Relic 3 and higher Rebel team, Cheapio, everything against that tier 5 of battle.
Oh, it's so bad.
It's so bad, man. It's just not well thought out. And what makes it worse, because it's not creative and not well thought out, and because the rewards are structured the way that they are, it's not good. And
how it is right now, it's Assault Battles 2.0.
It basically is.
That's how it is right now.
And so I'm going to wait before I make a final judgment to see what they make. If it's going to be like this, but the rewards are better, I'll suck it up. Do it every 2 days, get some good rewards. Cool. But if it's what it is now, there's a lot of work to be done. So let's see what CG does. I think they need to post. They don't need to wait for the road ahead. They don't need to wait for any of that nonsense. They need to be proactive as they were when they first said, okay, we're seeing your feedback. Here's some of the things that we're looking at. They need to continue that. They don't need to wait and leave us in the lurch or make changes without first posting, these are what we're going to do, and say, tell us what you think. That's super bad communication.
It's super bad communication, but it's CG.
I know.
What are you guys expecting? That's what they do. They don't communicate. I would love for them to push out some good communication about Galactic Challenges and bring it out sooner rather than later. But my hopes with CG have been let down too much.
Well, I'm going to go off of, with this one in particular, I'm going to go off of what I've seen from them so far. And they were pretty prompt at making a pretty decent post about the feedback for Galactic Challenges. And so I'm expecting slightly better communication. Maybe not amazing communication, but slightly better. They seem to be on top of it so far. Kind of.
Based off of their communication so far, I would say they're doing a hell of a lot better job than they were in the beginning of this year on communications alone. Now,
Hands down.
on Galactic Challenges note, I agree and disagree with both parties, right? So personally, yes, the rewards were very subpar, but based off of how the challenges and like how like just the whole event was structured as a whole, if you changed that a little bit to where you could turn off the modifiers, put in the rebel squads that you want to go against, and you could adjust it how you want, and maybe you got the rewards, you know, you could get it, you can get the same rewards 5 times a day or something like that. The rewards wouldn't be that awful. Now, when it comes to, they've already talked about how much they want to change, so on and so forth like that. They've already mentioned that, hey, we're going to change this. We're going to make them all 2 days apiece, so on and so forth. I give it 2 weeks at a max. They give us a post about it, but they've already said Galactic Challenges will be a seasonal thing, just like Grand Arena Championships. So they're not going to be around every single day.
I would be surprised if we wait much longer than a week, personally. I think that they have to understand they've got an audience here for it, and if they wait too long, they're going to lose us even more. And so I think that there's pressure to make changes pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't have high hopes. I don't think they're going to change. Maybe they change the thing here and there, their format. I don't think.
Yeah.
Other than that, maybe the rewards get better and some smaller changes, but I think we're going to be a little disappointed, honestly. But it'll be what it is.
That's how we're conditioned to react. That's for sure. And that's, I mean, history tells us that will be the case.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, until they prove us otherwise, I think that's. You know, the ball's in CG's court. They have to wow us, not the other way around. We've given them too much of our faith and been disappointed too many times. So they've got to, you know, they've got to blow us away. And I was really hopeful for Galactic Challenges. I really was. I was thinking it'd be an event where you can at least play some of it. You can use any team, all that stuff. It would involve the community, and it's turned out to be just Galactic Challenges different.
Star Battles 2.0. I was hoping, I think most of the community was hoping for, you know, something that not only content creators could do, but everybody could do, and just be like, you know, this is fun. Give you incentive to want to gear people up. You know, I need to take Empire up to Relic 5 to do the final tier to get the rewards. Okay, is it worth it? To me, it's not, because the rewards suck and you only get it once for the amount of effort and gear and resources you have to put into it. And it's literally just tuned up characters. There's not even any strategy really involved in it. The feats, I will say, the modifiers are kind of cool. If there's a way to kind of turn them off or switch them, or, you know, certain times they happen on this event and then other times they happen on this event or something like that, it'd be cool, giving some differentiation between all the events. But it needs a lot of work.
Lots of work needed. Hopefully, I'm going to be waiting anxiously to see what they do. Definitely be prepared for disappointment. But the optimism in me looks at the posts that they made, and they really called out, I think, what were a lot of the major issues with Galactic Challenges. And so I'm really hoping that those things get better and it becomes more worth our time and more entertaining to face. So we're going to wrap up here, everyone. We have got 4 questions for our panelists. Here's how this works. We're going to go down the line. I'm going to call you guys out, and you're going to get 30 seconds to answer the question. Be quick, and we'll get out of here. And don't answer anybody else's question. Those are the rules, okay? Ranger, I'm looking at you.
I have never done that. You bastard.
Oh, Ranger. I don't know what it is. It's just so fun to jab at you. Okay.
You have done that yourself, Anakin.
Furball, you're up first, okay? If Moff Gideon is coming to the game, assuming he's legendary or epic confrontation, I don't think he'd be an epic confrontation. Who do you think would be required aside from Mando, Greef, and Cara Dune? That's from SWG Official.
Imperial Troopers. That's the only thing that would fit in there nicely, and that would be it. Unless they come out with one more marquee character, maybe IG-11. Other than that, just Imperial Troopers.
That's a good point. With what's in the game right now, maybe Imperial Troopers, unless there's other marquees, which I think if they did, something like that would be likely. All right, this is from Kimo Sabe. in the chat. This is going to Partik. How much longer let's see. How much longer do you think we will continue to be in the Empire Strikes Back era? And which era do you think CG will choose next?
That's a good question. I think probably through the completion of the announcement of these GL prerequisites is my guess for the ESB content. I mean, probably the most likely thing to pivot to after this is the time in between episode 6 and episode 7 for additional Mando content.
Preach to the damn choir, my man. Thank you. Speaking truth. All right, let's see here. Rambam. Any validity to the 3 apprentices theory on the GLs? That you will need Leia, Kylo, and Rey for Luke, and Maul, Dooku, and Vader for Palpatine. That's from BW Bone.
From a lore standpoint, it would make sense. We don't really have that version of Leia in the game. I think we would need indoor Leia realistically, but it makes sense from a lore standpoint. And if you're looking at the sheer number of characters or players that have those characters up at the required relic levels, it would make sense from a financial standpoint as well, because we all know CG likes to make characters that not a lot of people would have required for something crazy. And so what characters do, are there that many people that are using Relic Maul out there? Probably not.
Nope.
Are there that many characters that are using Relic Leia out there? Probably not too much. So it would make sense for that perspective as well.
Great answer. All right, Ranger, you're gonna round us out here. I won't give you any crap, okay? I promise. The number 1 player is free to play per Cubs video. So I'm gonna quickly address that narrative. I'm not saying that he's the number 1 player in the world. I said he was the number 1 free to play player in the world, and I'm kind of retracting that statement after hearing several arguments. He's just very good, okay? He's really good, all right? He admits it takes a lot of time to be at that level. Is whaling worth buying the time, or do you feel that that with whaling that you spend an equivalent amount of time? That's a good question for you, because you kind of flirt with both fence.
Well, yeah, and I've been whaling a lot more, but I'm very specific about what I do well on. I think it's what you're trying to accomplish and what you want to be at the game, how competitive you want to be. Do you want the new characters? Can you afford the new characters? Those kind of things. So if you think that you take that into perspective, then I think, yeah, I mean, it's what you want out of the game. If you just want to be free to play, be free to play. If you want to spend, be smart, spend on you how you want, and there's no right or wrong answer when it comes to that.
I love that answer. I made this this claim in I think it was a mistakes video I made recently. Own your play style. Whatever you are, own it. And be comfortable in it. Don't let somebody make you feel bad for spending. Don't make somebody make you feel bad for not spending. And if you want to flirt with both camps, do that. Just do what works best for you in your situation and helps you enjoy the game in a healthy, manageable way. So, all right, everyone, I want to thank you all for joining me for the whale chat. Great answers to questions. We covered a lot of ground today. Really looking forward to this coming weeks to learn hopefully some more Galactic Legends requirements and hopefully get feeling a little bit better about Galactic challenges. It was nice to have a newcomer today, Furball. Thanks again for showing up, everyone. It was great having you guys.
It was an honor to be here. Thanks, Cub.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us, Cubs. You should relic Arc.
Arc!
Mace Windu sucks. All right, I'm out of here.